NHL playoff recap, night 8, another 4-game schedule tonight. The NHL schedule makers, for once, a beautiful job staggering these games out throughout the day. 2:30, 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and 10:30. Chef's kiss, and we get it again today. The first game yesterday, the Islanders hosting the Carolina Hurricanes, looking to avoid the sweep in their series. Seth Jarvis scores the first one in the first period on the power play. He's been great for the Canes all season long and continues to be so in the playoffs. We head to the second, where Matt Barzal, about halfway through, ties this at 1-1 from Pelech and Horvat. An electric goal from him. This guy does not shoot the puck enough. He finally does here and gets rewarded in the third. We trade goals. J.G. Pageau, just a minute and 38 seconds in, scores to regain the lead 2-1 here for the Islanders. But with just under 6 minutes to play, Stefan Noesen on the power play finds it backdoor, and it's happened for him. I mean, the puck gets moved across the ice a couple times. The defense for the Islanders on the penalty kill, not able to break it up, and he gets rewarded with a nice little passing play that, again, it's just a tap-in. And we head to overtime. The first overtime, nothing going. A pretty defensive-style overtime, that being... But the Carolina Hurricanes in that overtime, 17 shots. The Islanders really just trying to hold down the fort. Varlamov was fantastic. And then in overtime number 2, we only get one shot for each team. The Carolina Hurricanes do not score on theirs, and Matt Barzal does on his. It's his second of the game from Horvat and Bortuzzo, and it's a, more importantly, 3-2 win for the Islanders, who avoid the sweep. They will head back to Carolina, trailing the series 3-1. Semyon Varlamov was phenomenal in this game. He goes 42 of 44. Again, that overtime period was probably the best period of the game for him. Freddie Anderson was also very good. He goes 32 of 35, just not quite enough to get that one extra save for the win. A great game here, a really entertaining one, and we will see one more at least on, I believe, Tuesday. The Lightning, hosting the Florida Panthers, also looking to avoid the sweep here, and they looked like it in the first period. It's Steven Stamkos' fourth in 4 games that opens the scoring, and then Brandon Bagel, his second of the series, makes it 2-0. That's a shorty, and Braden Point, with just under 5 minutes to play in the first, makes it 3-0. Headed into the intermission. Carter Verhaeghe, though, early in the second, scores, makes it 3-1. Brandon Bagel, again, his second of the game, about halfway through the period, makes it 4-1. But the Panthers are not done. Sam Reinhart, a few minutes after that, scores to make it a 4-2 game, and a little over 5 minutes to go, it's Oliver Ekman-Larsson with one that Vasilevsky's definitely going to be wanting back. And just like that, we have a 1-goal game headed to the third. The first half of the third, pretty tightly contested. Could have gone either way, but once again, the captain, Steven Stamkos, his 5th of the series, makes it a 5-3 game, and Nick Paul, with about 3 and some change to go, makes it 6-3, and that is how the game would finish up. Say hello to Paisley. Vasilevsky, despite the one kind of squabble goal, was pretty solid, I thought. 22 of 25 and 880. Bobrovsky, this is a game he probably wants back, though. Not a lot of these goals you can really blame on him. I mean, both Stamkos ones just snipes. Some deflections, just a ton of net front play, as you can expect from guys like Hagel, Point, and Nick Paul. So not pinning this game entirely on him, but you do probably want 1 or 2 saves here. He goes 26 of 28 for an .812 save percentage. Just not going to be good enough to cut it here. And much like the Islanders, the Stamkos as well, the Lightning stave off elimination, and they will head back to Sunrise, Florida, trailing 3-1. The Leafs hosting the Boston Bruins, this series at 2-1 going into it in favor of Boston. And for the first time all series, we see back-to-back games for Jeremy Swayman in the first period. JVR opens the scoring, and this is one that, like, if I'm a Leafs fan, I want to save. Ilya Samsonov gets kind of just, like, danced on in front of the net. JVR off of don't get me wrong, it's a bad turnover by Ryan Reeves. Let's not blush over that fact, but JVR really just one quick little move to his backhand completely opens up Samsonov. All form thrown out the window, and it's 1-0 Bruins after 1 in the second period. A power play goal by Brad Marchand makes it 2-0. This one, I saw some people on Twitter, and like Steve Dangle was saying, you want to save here. It's tough. I mean, it's a power play goal, lots of traffic in front. He is way, way away from where the puck ends up being when it ends up crossing the goal line here, but I don't know. I have a hard time completely blaming Sammy on this one, but I don't entirely disagree. And then Pastrnak, it's not going to happen. So it's 3-0 Bruins after 2. The Leafs bench was seen chirping at each other a little bit after the game. They had some quotes trying to save face. Obviously, these guys do not hate each other, but I think that was more than just frustration. given what we all suspect William Nylander said. So that all being said, Mitch Marner scores the only goal for the Leafs here. It was a very, very pretty goal. It actually ends up getting put in by Swayman. I think the puck probably would have gone wide had Swayman not touched it. But nonetheless, a fantastic effort from Marner on this one. Probably the best effort he put in on a single shift all night. And the rest of the night, it really didn't look to be there. It's a 3-1 final for Boston. They lead the series 3-1 heading back into Boston. And Swayman just outdueled Samsonov straight up, 24 of 25 for a 960. Samsonov 14 of 17 for an 824. I'd be very curious to see if Joseph Woll gets the start in Game 5. But nonetheless, Boston leads the series 3-1 after this one. And the final game of the night here, the Golden Knights hosting Dallas, leading the series 2-0. And it was a freaking show by Logan Thompson in this one. Wyatt Johnston scores the first one at the 11:11 mark in the first period to make it 1-0. That's the only goal in the first, and that was probably Logan Thompson's best period. Dallas gets, let's see here, 18 shots on Thompson. He gives up just the one goal. Vegas only countering with 7 shots of their own. In the second period, it is a little bit closer. Shots 15-10 still in favor of Dallas, and Miro Heiskanen scores at a little over 5 minutes in to make it a 2-0 game, but Vegas, not to be denied, Braden McNabb scores at the halfway mark of the period, a little beyond it, to make it a 2-1 game. And about 3 minutes later, Jack Eichel scores a shorty from Braden McNabb, and this one was beautiful. Eichel kind of imposed his will, I thought, for a good chunk of this game, but this goal was a great example of that, just not to be denied, and a wicked shot from him to tie the game up at 2. We head to the third. Once again, a solid period from Logan Thompson, but this is the only period of the game really where I thought Ottinger was better than Thompson. He faces 10 shots, stops all 10 of them. Thompson just has to go 5 for 5. We head to overtime. The overtime, some great back and forth chances. Both goalies making some really nice saves. Earlier in the overtime, Wyatt Johnston has a chance off an odd man rush, puts it right into Thompson's pads, and then a few minutes later, he gets another chance off the rush with a nice little cut move out wide on the Vegas defenseman, and he says, well, I got stopped down low once, I'm not going to do it again. He rips it underneath the bar. Perfect top shed and in, and it's a 3-2 win for Dallas, making it a 2-1 series lead for Vegas rather than a 3-0. That's a huge, huge goal from the kid, and frankly, the kids were great all night for Dallas. Heiskanen, Robertson, Johnston, Stankoven was fantastic. Like, all of the young guys putting in work for them, and they end up getting it done 3-2 with the opportunity to tie the series, headed back to Dallas if they win in Game 4. So the series just made it much more interesting. Thank you very much, Wyatt Johnston. Both goalies were fantastic in this one, but again, Logan Thompson, phenomenal. 43 of 46. That's a career high saves for him, regular season or playoffs. Jake Ottinger, 32 of 34, a 941 save percentage. He was very big when he had to be. As good as Thompson was, let's not ignore the fact that Ottinger still stopped 32 shots and had a 941 save percentage. So this series, once again, made much more interesting. We'll see what happens in Game 4, but for tonight, Dallas gets it done, and that is it for playoff recap night 8. We will talk to you guys later today for another 4 games, and I will once again be at the Capitals game to probably watch their season and talk to you guys in a bit.